25 interesting lesser known facts about Mahabharata. First, Mahabharata was originally known as Jaya. Mahabharata was not called so. Until very recently, it was originally known as Jaya. The original epic was called Jaya, then it was called Vijaya, then Bharata, and finally Mahabharata. Jaya had about 25,000 verses, while the final form had over 100,000 verses. Jaya was about spiritual victory, Vijaya was about material victory, Bharata was the story of clan, and Mahabharata included also the wisdom of the land called Bharatvarsha. What began as an auspicious idea ended up becoming massive documentation of realities that threatened the common man. Many modern scholars, writers, and playwrights, exhausted and overwhelmed by the maze of stories of final version of epic, are convinced that Mahabharata is only about the futility of war. Second, the youngest Pandava Sahadev could see the future. Well, Sahadev, the Pandava's youngest brother, knew everything about the future and all events of the Kurukshetra war. He knew about the outcome of the war but remained silent as he was cursed to die if he revealed anything. There are versions of Mahabharata which claim that Sahadev ate his father's flesh or brains to receive such knowledge. On the other hand, he is mentioned as astrologer and a genius. There is also a fun incident. As soon as he knew everything, he ran towards brother and mother to tell him everything when a stranger stopped him. It was Krishna. Krishna asked him to keep quiet and never tell anybody anything voluntarily. Also, he should reply to every question with a question. Sahadev had no choice, hence he always knew everything but could not say anything to anyone. This is one of the hidden facts that you should know about Mahabharata, about Sahadev. Third, Duryodhana's real name was Suyodhan. Also, rest of the Corvin clan was Susasana, Suchala, and so on, not the Dusasana, Dusala, etc. that we are familiar with. They were all given nicknames to suit their bad reputations. Words starting with Du in Hindi, Sanskrit having negative undertone, and the opposite true for words starting with Su. Another theory is that when Duryodhana was born, his father Dhritarashtra named him Suyodhan. Suyodhan was interested in mace fight. After completing his primary education from Guru Dronacharya, he went to Balram for higher learning of the art of the mace fight. In the final practice session, Suyodhana defeated Balram. This made Balram very happy and hence he gave the title of Duryodhana to him, which he means a warrior which cannot be defeated. 4. Vedvyas is not a name but a post. We all know that Mahabharata composed by Vedvyas and written by Lord Ganesha. Vedvyas is not a name but a post given to those who had knowledge of Vedas. There were 27 Vedvyas before Krishna Dvipayan, and Krishna Dvipayan was the 28th Vedvyas, who was given this name because he had a whitish skin color like Lord Krishna and he was born on an island. 5. Not all Kauravas were against the Pandavas in the war. Two of the Dhritarashtra's sons, Vikarna and Yuyutsu, did not approve of Duryodhana's actions and actually protested against Draupadi being staked in the game of dice. Interestingly, Vikarna was the third son of Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, also the third most reputable of Kauravas after Duryodhana and Dusasana. Despite his apprehensions, Vikarna still fought on the Duryodhana side during the Kurukshetra war. Bhishma even named him as one of the greatest warriors on the Kaurava side. While Yuyutsu was the only son of Dhritarashtra, with Vaisyaka, also known as Sugad Sovali, his wife Gandhari's maid, he was a paternal half-sibling to Gandhari's children Duryodhana and the rest of the 100 Kauravas brothers and their sister Dushala. Before the start of the Battle of Kurukshetra war between Kauravas and Pandavas, Yuyutsu shifts from Kauravas to Pandava camp. Ultimately, he was the only Kaurava brother and son of Dhritarashtra who survived the Kurukshetra war. Sixth, in Mahabharata, Vidur was the avatar of Yamraj. As per the Mahabharata, Vidura was the half-brother to the king Dhritarashtra and Pandu of Hastinapur, born the son of the sage Vyas and Sudri, a lady in waiting to Queens Ambika and Ambalika of the city. He was a great scholar of Dharma Shastra and Arthashastra due to the curse of Rishi Mandavya, he had to be born as a human. 7. Abhimanyu had the soul of a demon. Abhimanyu was actually the soul of a Daitya named Kalyavana. Krishna, after burning Kalyavana to death, had captured his soul and took him to Dwarka only to stuff him into a cupboard. According to Krishna, Abhimanyu was an incarnation of a very powerful demon named Kalavan, who was capable of killing him at a later point. Abhimanyu's only weakness is partial knowledge of Chakravyuh. Hence, Chakravyuh was indeed launched to kill Abhimanyu, as this was the only way by which Abhimanyu could attain moksha. Therefore, Krishna never imparted the knowledge of how to come out of Chakravyuh to him. 8. Bhishma Pitama's real name was Devvrat. When Devvrat was a young man, his father Santanu went on a hunt and fell in love with a local fisherwoman, Satyavati. However, Satyavati's father laid down tough condition. He would only let him marry her if her sons become heirs to his throne. Santanu returned to his kingdom heartbroken. Devrata, unable to see his father in this state, went to persuade Satyavati to marry his father, offering to step aside as their heir. Satyavati was not satisfied. Even if he steps down, she argued, his sons may claim the throne later. So, Devrata took a vow never to marry or reproduce, or came to be known as Bhishma, the Terrible. 9. It was a Brahmana's curse that killed Karna. Karna once, when practicing the Sabdvedi arrow, mistook a cow for a wild animal and shot it down. The Brahman to whom the cow belongs is distraught and curses Karna that he will be killed by his enemy when his attention is diverted and he is not in the combat. This curse materializes when Karna is busy removing the chariot wheel from the mud and is sought by Arjuna. When Karna went to Mahendra Parvat, he was practicing archery with his Vijaya bow, and then he adventurously slew a Homa cow of a Brahman who has performed Agnihotra rite daily. Then Karna informed the Brahman about his inadvertent act and apologized for it. Then that Brahman cursed Karna that Karna's chariot wheel will be swallowed by the earth and he will be totally heedless and his head will be cut off by the warrior whom he always challenges, for whom he was striving so much. 10. Mahabharata World War. The real fight was not just between Pandavas and Kauravas. Forces from Rome, Greek, were also a part of it. The war caused widespread destruction and totally destroyed the social structure and even raised question mark on the survival of humanity, but that was 5000 years earlier. 11. Balram was the father-in-law of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was the son-in-law of Balram. Abhimanyu's wife, Vatsala, was the daughter of Balram. Balram wanted that Vatsala should marry Lakshmana, who was Duryodhana's son. Abhimanyu and Vatsala both loved each other and wanted to get married. Abhimanyu took help of his brother Ghatotkacha. Ghatotkacha knew magic and he, by his magic tricks, went to Lakshmana's marriage and terrified the groom. He then took Vatsala with him and flew away and went to his brother Abhimanyu. Lakshmana was very upset from all this and he vowed that he will not marry throughout his life. Due to this, Duryodhana was full of anger. 12. The 5 golden arrows that could have killed all Pandavas. At the time of war, as Bhishma, who was on the side of Kaurava, was accused by Duryodhana for doing any harm to Pandavas and favoring them. On hearing, Bhishma became very angry, and his anger, he took 5 gold arrows, filled it with mantras. He vowed that Pandavas would die before the sunset. On the other day, Duryodhana suspected that Bhishma would never do anything wrong with them, so he took those arrows with him. Lord Krishna reminded Arjuna that Duryodhana had promised him a boon and he should ask him for 5 golden arrows. When Arjuna asked him about the arrows, Duryodhana was shocked and asked him how did he know about those arrows. When Arjuna replied, Krishna. 13. Bhim taunted Dhritarashtra and Gandhari after the war. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari retired to the forest 15 years after Yudhishthir's coronation. The main reason for this was Bhim's taunts, which depressed them. 14. Karna was the main culprit in Draupadi Haran, disrobing. The disrobing of Draupadi was instigated by Karna, not Duryodhana. Duryodhana has been remarkably quiet during the entire episode except while asking Draupadi to come in court. 15. The 7 Maharathis of Chakravyuh did not kill Abhimanyu. Although it is believed that 7 Maharathis of Chakravyuh were the reason for Abhimanyu's death, but this is also not the complete truth. Abhimanyu had actually killed one of the 7 Maharathi, who was Duryodhana's sons. Angry on this, Dharmasan, the son of Dusasan, had killed Abhimanyu. 16. The first battle of Kurukshetra was not Mahabharata. Indian Hindu sacred books Puranas mention Kurukshetra as a region named after the king Kuru, the ancestor of Kauravas and Pandavas as depicted in epic Mahabharata. The importance of the place is attributed to the fact that Kurukshetra war of the Mahabharata was fought on this land. However, many people do not know that Mahabharata was not the first war that was fought in the region or the battlefield. It was the battle between Bhishma, Pitama, and Lord Parasuram, who himself is considered to be reincarnation of Lord Vishnu, was fought earlier. As for the result, none of the great warriors could defeat the other, such a great warrior that Bhishma Pitama was. 17. Pandu's knowledge transfer and cannibalism. Pandu, the father of Pandavas, wished his sons must eat his flesh post-death so that all the knowledge may transfer to them, which he had collected after so many years. Only Sahadev ate a piece. The moment he ate, he was able to see the future, but stopped by God. He was a blessed astrologer and able to see the future. 18. Arjuna. Arjuna had 2 more wives apart from Draupadi. Arjuna's pilgrimage for breaking marital laws with Draupadi earned him 3 more wives. They were Chitrangada, Ulupi, and Subhadra. Arjuna could not even defeat thieves. Arjuna is considered one of the greatest warriors of all time. However, not many people know that many of the Krishna's wives were kidnapped by robbers out of lust. Some of them resisted, some vanished, some were saved, some surrendered. This incident happened in today's Punjab region. Arjuna was unable to defend the wives of Krishna from common robbers after Krishna's departure to Vaikuntha. His bow became heavy and he forgot all his mantras. The 8 men wives committed suicide. The others were kidnapped by robbers. 20. Bhima's son was denied the throne like Dhritarashtra. Bhima had one surviving son named Sarvag by Balandhara, who was not given the throne despite being much elder to Parikshit. He became the ruler of Kashi instead. Interestingly, the same had happened with Dhritarashtra, his uncle, who was denied the throne due to his blindness and later became a pretext of the Kurukshetra war. History seems to have repeated itself without giving consequence, though it is easily one of the lesser known facts about the Mahabharata. 21. Eklavya. Eklavya was actually Krishna's cousin. Not many people know that he was the son of Devasrava, brother of Vasudeva, who got lost in the forest and was found by a Nisad, Hiranyadhanu. Eklavya died protecting his father during Rukmani Swayamvar. He was killed by Krishna. For his great sacrifice of Guru Dakshina, Krishna blessed Eklavya that he would be soon reincarnated and take revenge on Drona. This person was Drashtadyumna, who killed Drona. 22. Arjuna had once saved Duryodhana. Duryodhana had gone to Dwaita forest to humiliate the Pandavas with all the servants from Indraprastha. There the Gandharva Chitrasena and his Apsaras were enjoying in the pond. Duryodhana asked Chitrasena to abandon the pool, but as he refused, a heated argument broke out between them. Chitrasena attacked Duryodhana. The Pandavas who were nearby asked Chitrasena to let Duryodhana alone. Chitrasena, who was a friend of Arjuna, spared Duryodhana, but not before trying him with vines and setting him on his horse. Duryodhana, though humiliated, thanked Arjuna and asked him what he wanted for the turn he had done to him. Arjuna said that he would ask from Duryodhana some other time. The powerful chariot of Krishna. Krishna rode a chariot that was heavily potent, and once when Arjuna was done with the war, Krishna asked him to get off the chariot first and then he got off. As soon as he got off, the chariot exploded like a big explosion. That's when he explained to Arjuna why he asked him to get off the chariot first. 24. Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama was a cursed by a woman. Bhishma Pitama, also called as the Ganga Putra, had been cursed by Sikhandi while he was young. He had rejected her love and so he had taken on oath to kill Bhishma. Bhishma could not be killed unless he lowered his bow in the battle. He would not lower his bow against anyone but a woman. Also, no woman was allowed to enter the battle. Sikhandi was born a woman and raised as a man. Bhishma refused to battle with Sikhandi. Arjuna used the situation and shot 100 arrows to the ground. As there was no way the Pitama could be killed, Pitama had the gift of choosing his moment of death. 25. Chaucer is not only a game of luck. It is a common misunderstanding that game of Chaucer, which is a critical role in Mahabharata, is a game of only luck. In fact, Chaucer is also a game of strategy and application. Sakuni does deserve some credit here. He was the master of the game who no one else could defeat. This, however, also became one of the reasons for the Mahabharata war. So these are the 25 lesser known facts about Mahabharata. Thank you.